You can put United States.
We are who we are. We are unstoppable. We are the power. We are strong and proud. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. Better believe that.
My name is Ratifa Sechema. Your Excellence, you're most welcome. As the young people, the generation they have told you about that is very unstoppable, we are grateful that you've given us this opportunity to come and be with you. I'm not alone, but
You can put United States into Africa 4 times. But the GDP of Africa, you check on your internet, because for you, me I have got my capability. It doesn't have internet on it. They stop me from thinking properly. The aim of our internet, you check. What is the GDP of Africa? 2.7 trillion. Can you imagine? Dollars. The United States, which is 1/4 of African land size and 1/5 in population, because Africa now is 1.5 billion people.
I'm with a very special, intelligent, brilliant lady that will be introducing herself.
My name is Falda Chiramo, and I'm thrilled to be here to share unstoppable ideas with you and the rest of the panelists.
Exactly. Unstoppable UG is a campaign that was started by Gen Z Ugandans, that generation that clocks it. Yeah. To you who is watching me on TV right now, the difference between the other Sevo Cafe podcast editions that have been happening and this one is that Sevo himself is in the building.
Now, when we dive into what Sevo Cafe is, it is actually a podcast which has given young people the opportunity to share constructive information with our leaders of the National Resistance Movement Party, so that we can be able to talk about what has already been achieved, how we can still protect it, and to nurture it for the future, because we are the leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly, that is protecting our gains. We are dreamers, wealth creators, hustlers, very innovative people. We are here to change the game. We are the biggest entrepreneurs that the world will ever have. And above all, we are Ugandans. Your Excellency, back then we used to say, bye, Museveni.
Yeah,
Now we
yeah.
say, Museveni, clock it.
Clock it.
On the panelists we have today, the lady you are seeing there is called Atim Olaya, and she is a very brilliant student. Next to her, we have a very big dreamer, Sandra Lian Nabichi, a hustler and a business lady. Your Excellency, the gentleman you are seeing, the king among those queens, is Odokonyero Gerard, a software engineer.
Clock it.
Yeah. I would request the panelists that we have to clock it together. Then we have Nasazi Shakira, a young entrepreneur. I would love to welcome you all that are watching us for the Sevo Cafe edition that is happening in Rachitura, and Sevo has given us the authority to be in his place and also call him Sevo.
And now we go into the serious conversations that have been baffling our minds as young people, so that we can be able to get answers to them. Because in my tribe, they say, Erisorium Kulu, Ewadugala Wewalaba. So we would love to welcome our panelists.
Yes, and the panelists are going to be asking those questions. Sevo, we have gone to different places, and the panelists have been hearing the different ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen speaking their questions that have been asking. And now this is the time for them to bring those questions to you on behalf of all the unstoppable Genzes. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mr. President. I would like to firstly thank you for welcoming us here and hosting us, the Gen Zs, and allowing us to have an educated conversation with you. I would like to start with a question regarding your goals for the economy. Mr. President, you want to do a qualitative leap for the economy from a GDP of 60 billion USD to 500 billion USD by 2040. That's an amazing goal, and I want to know how we, the Gen Zs, can help you make this even more tangible than it is.
Well, for the Gen Z and for all the generations in the last 300 years, you need to know that the economy has 4 sectors. That is where you can find wealth and jobs. The 4 sectors are commercial agriculture. If you produce crops for money as well as for food, you will create wealth and get money and create jobs. Commercial agriculture is of maybe 3 types. You can have the small scale, the 4 acres model, because I had people asking about it. 4 acres model is for the small scale, the ones with small piece of land. And these are the ones we are saying, since you have got a small piece of land, select high value enterprises, and those should be the ones you do in your small area, and you will get good income. And I have got examples of that. I've been showing them on the screens. People earning billions of shillings. Like if you can have time and visit Joseph Ijara of Serere, of Asangwa, of Kamuli, you'll see people earning billions from 2 acres or 2 acres of land. Then you can have medium, large-scale agriculture, commercial agriculture, because this is where your people were, Africans were behind. because they were producing, but producing only for consumption, for home consumption. Or only working for the stomach, what they call subsistence. This is the one with the campaign. We want everybody to work for the stomach, but also for the pocket. That's why we say commercial agriculture. So small scale commercial agriculture, 4 acres or less, medium scale, and large scale. There, because you see the country needs all these products. For the small scale, we have recommended 9 enterprises. We have recommended coffee, fruits, small, what do you call, zero grazing dairy cattle, food crop, piggery, poultry for eggs, fish farming, cocoa, and palm oil. There, even if you have got 1 acre, you will get good money. But then your country needs other crops, needs other products. We need cotton. We need maize. If we don't have cotton, what shall we put on? We need clothes. We need maize, because maize is low value, but needed in all animal feeds, for starch, for industries. We need sugar cane for sugar. We need tobacco, those who want to die from cancer. Those are low value, but needed by the economy. So therefore we need the large scale producers who produce on a large scale, and although they are getting a small per acre, because of scale, they get good money. So that is sector 1, which all of you must know, Gen Z or non-Gen Z. This is mandatory. Either you know it or you don't know it, and you are doomed. So this is commercial agriculture. Then the next sector is artisanship and manufacturing and industries. This is where you process all these raw materials in final products. The raw materials we have in Uganda are agricultural raw materials, like the shirt I'm putting on is from the cotton, our cotton here. Then you have the minerals. Like the other day, I commissioned a factory with President Ruto in Tororo about steel. Steel. You Gen Z, you must have heard of something called obutare. Obutare, you have never heard of this. Obutare is iron ore.
I was thinking about it.
Very good. Obutare is iron ore. That's why you hear of Butare here in Buweju. There's a place called Butare. You can even hear of Butare in Rwanda. There is something there. It is our word for iron ore, from which we get steel. Steel for so many uses, for dams, for buildings, Mitayimbwa, so the minerals, mineral-based industries are needed. Then you have knowledge-based industries, knowledge-based, where you don't have the local minerals or the local crops, but you have knowledge. This is where you, the Gen Z, can come in. Knowledge, innovation. Computers. Computers are, you put a number of things together and you create a product. But all of them under manufacturing. All of them under manufacturing. That is the second sector. Whatever you do, in the last 400 years, this is the path to modernization. Then the third sector is services. Services. Uwezo. Services like hospitality. Me here, I am a wealth creator. I produce milk for you people. So you need milk, I am here. I give you milk. I give you a product. I produce beef for you. I produce bananas for you. And somebody transforms it into a processed product. So me, I'm a farmer. The manufacturer processes it into final product or changes a bit like starch and so on. But then we need services, which is the third sector. Services like hospitality, a hotel. Where did you sleep last night? Did you stay in a hotel here?
Hotel Yiga.
Where?
Yigongo.
Igongo.
Yes.
So now that man, Igongo man, is not like me, who is producing milk, bananas, beef. For him, he's providing a service. Me, I'm producing a product, a good, but for him, he's producing a service. Transport is service. This border is services. Abayimbi, like Bebe Kur and group, they don't produce bananas like me. They just eat, they don't know where the bananas come from. But they provide what I don't do. This is to entertain us. Music, football, sports. Sports is a service. You can also have professional services, medical. If I go for treatment, that's a service. I was going to die, this man brings me back to life. And it's a service. The witchcraft, if you're a witch doctor, you pretend to provide a service. Pastors who preach the gospel, that's a service. So this is the third sector. Now, the fourth sector is also really part of sector 3, but I prefer to separate it. This is ICT. The computers, the what, because they are providing some other new types of service. For instance, this is what they call BPO, businesses processing outsourcing, where I am an accountant here in Mbarara, and I do accountancy work for a company in the USA, and they pay me, I send them the work over the internet, and they pay me. So I prefer to separate ICT a bit to make it a separate sector. But really it is part of the services sector, strictly speaking. So therefore, when you say how can we come in, I don't think there is economy, any sector which is outside these four. I don't think so. If you know any, tell me. But for me, I think these are the four sectors of wealth creation. In some of the countries, if you take, and this is where you are very lucky, you fellows. And this is why you should wake up, get out of sleep, because sometimes you go into sleep, into disorientation. People give you these stories, those stories, but me, I'm here to tell you the reality. Some of the countries are not as lucky as us. If you take Japan, there's no way they can engage in commercial agriculture because they don't have the land. So for them, they don't have, so for them, the only economy they have is the knowledge economy, sharpness of their engineers. So here we have got everything. All these sectors, we can perform in them: agriculture, manufacturing, we have our own raw materials, services, we have everything is here. So when you say where we the Genzis can come in, you can come in wherever you want in the four sectors.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. President.
And by the way, I have got some Genzis here also in-house.
We clock that indeed.
My grandchildren, they are your group.
They are very unstoppable.
They are already very active with the commercial agriculture, some of them, very active. So all those sectors are there for you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. My name is Sandra Lian Nabichi. I'm a TV host as well as Omuyiribi. I'm a hustler. Njiribireyo downtown n'ebintu bingi nnyo kwegamba buli ekinsala mu maaso nkiyiriba kasita kiba nga kiriko akasente. So, Mr. President, ngenda kutandikira ku kyogeddeko ekya agriculture, and we really appreciate you so much ngaba youth. Nti otaddewo ebintu ebyenjawulo okuba nti naffe tubyenyigiramu. But bw'otunuulira number of youths abasinga tetulina yadde tampeko y'ettaka wensobola okutandikira okugamba nti nyina ekintu kyenteekawo okutandika okulima oba okuggyamu ssente. So with that, tugenda okufuluma okuva mu universities oba dropouts, anything like that, nga tolina wootandikira ng'oluusi companies ezitukozesa zigamba twagala abantu balina experience of which wakafuluma essomero. That means nekyosomeredde kyennyini oluusi tokifuna n'ofundikira ng'olina kuba muyiribi nga bwendi n'ogamba nti nkedde ku makya I've created a business n'ogitandika ne ka capital k'oba oyiyiza either okwewoze mu bank n'otandikawo ekintu kyo. So as time goes on okula n'otandika okusuubula okuva ebweru okusobola okugaziyayo business, but then nekifundikira nga emisolo gisusse ate nga akantu ke wandifunyeeko kafundikira kagweredde mu misolo gye bakutakisinga ku kisaawe nti oyingiza ebintu n'opimaapimamu ng'olaba tekiwera n'okomekerera nga olaba osuubulira bwereere wabula mu loosi njereere. Yet nga youth weeyiiza akantu kosobola okuba nga kwegamba otambuza obulamu. Kati mbadde mbuuza Mr. President, fenga abavubuka otutegekedde otya okubeera ng'omusolo guno tegutunyigiriza nnyo ku buntu bwe tutandiseewo ngaffe okuba nti tuganyulwamu okuba busy kozi otugambe tuyiiye. And you mentioned as something like you should wake up mulekerawo okwebaka naye tusula tutunula tuyiriba kiro na misana naye akasente kaganyi.
Kati now Sandra has not heard of a disease called ekikulukuto.
Nakiwulirako, Mr. President.
Ekikulukuto Banyankole called it ekyerwiso. In the Bible, there was a woman who had there was a hemorrhage, who was bleeding. This woman was bleeding, and until she touched the garment of Jesus, and the bleeding stopped. So the problem with African countries and other backward countries is the problem of ekikulukuto. Ekikulukuto, bleeding, the hemorrhage. If your business is in imports from outside, then you are helping the hemorrhage of your country. Because if they are importing this shirt is made 100% from Uganda. Now, in making this shirt, Uganda benefited a lot because we started with the cotton, which brought money and jobs for some Ugandans who grew the cotton. Then it went into a ginnery where they removed the seeds and separated the fiber. It's called ginning, ginnery. That's more money, more jobs, more jobs. Then it goes into spinning to make a wools. That's more money, more jobs, using our electricity. Then finally, weaving the yarn, the thread into a garment and putting the colors and then tailoring. So you have got like almost 6 job levels. A kilo of cotton is like $1. But that same kilo, if you import it, if you export it as cotton at that stage, you will get $1. The country will get $1. Then but by the time from 1 kilo, you can make like 4 shirts like these ones. And the total value of those is like $15. So what you donated, you talk of donations, the biggest donators are the African countries. They donate wealth and jobs to the outsiders. Because when you export that unprocessed cotton, you'll get only $1. But besides, all the jobs will now be done by the other people. You have donated the jobs. So we are saying, this is now the hemorrhage. So therefore, when we make our shirt here, and Sandra wants to bring a Chinese shirt, we say, no, sorry. Either don't bring the shirt, or if you bring it, pay tax. This is the tax you are talking about. This is the tax to stop hemorrhage. So if you want, but Sandra, I will give you a good business.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You come here and buy my bananas and take them to Kampala. There will be no tax. Because for internal distribution, if you buy maize from Chiboga, you buy sim from Acholi, there will be no tax. There's no tax on internal distribution. There's no tax even on agriculture. There's no tax. But we tax you, the agent of Echikurukutu. Because your mission is to turn us into a supermarket. We're going to put for like a supermarket, Yabarara. And we don't accept that. We say, no, we are not a supermarket here of foreign products. We are a productive society. So that's how you face those are the only taxes, import taxes. They're the ones you are talking about. So you cannot say, Sandra cannot say, munzi sewa nange. Mbade ndaka business kange, kokore sanduko z'abafu, naye kati abantu tebakyafa nnyo, n'olwekyo munzi sewa nange. Leka abantu baffe, so that your business of coffins is a bad business.
So what's the good business?
There are some businesses which should be discouraged if possible. And it is only, in this case, it is only import business. Import, not imports. In fact, up to now we are still liberal because we are only taxing imports of consumer goods, not medicine, not machinery, but consumer and luxury items. These are the ones we tax. So this is in order to okusigaza omusaayi gwaffe ekikulukuto okukomya ekikulukuto. This is why our economy is growing. And when you say it will grow by 500 billion, it is because of this. Because remember, instead of one job level for cotton, we have got 6 job levels. And all that money is staying here. Jobs are being created. They are using our electricity. In the sati genyamba de wano, amasanyalaze gaffe gagikola. Eri jojo China, amasanyalaze gaba China gagikola.
But then lastly, Mr. President, thank you so much for that. Naye waliwo kye tuwulira nti foreigners are given taxation holidays. Kati nga n'oluusi gwe ky'otunda naye ky'atunda n'ofundikira nga gwe oli muloosa ate nga bo bakola. Is that true?
Now, very good. Abaana bankoze bulungi bannange. Okundeeta mu bazzukulu mbagyemu oluhumbo nolweza kyo mu Luganda. Oluhumbo.
Tuggyeko ekifu ku maaso.
Okay, you can use that one also. You can use that one. You see, there are measurements of economics. One measurement is called GDP, gross domestic product. This is the measurement for all products produced in Uganda, whether by Ugandans or non-Ugandans. Kati mwe mukola ensobi nimugamba nti ekkolo ly'omu China tumuba batuufu kasita ekkolo libeera wano lya Uganda. Singa Museveni agenze China nazimba y'ekkolero togenda kugamba nti ekkolo lya Uganda. If Museveni builds a factory in China, that factory is not a Ugandan factory. It is a Chinese factory built by a Ugandan. So therefore, all the factories here, all the production here is really ours. Kati mu bantu ababiri waliwo mu China azimbye ekkolero wano. Azimbye twaranga yazimba ekkolero lya ceramic tiles ze bakozesa mu mayumba amategula waki ceramic tiles zino ze bateeka mu mayumba. We were importing those. Can you imagine? This man builds them here. Ate waliwo Sandra akyasaka enviiri z'abafu ebweru.
Anti ffe tetulina nviiri, Mr. President. Tulina kaweke.
Kati ku bantu ababiri omuntu akoledde amatoffaali wano what do you call those tiles mu lulimi lwaffe? Tiles ze bateeka wansi mu mayumba.
Kisigalayo tayiro.
Okay. So China has made tiles here. Now Sandra is importing dead people's hair from I don't know where.
China.
So who is better for Uganda? Who is better for Uganda in terms of ekikulukuto? Remember the hemorrhage. Who is the one who is conserving our blood?
The Chinese.
and who is the one who is facilitating akasente katibaletwa akajja mu mwanyi kalina okuddayo okusasulira enviiri z'abafu. This is madness. It is sickness. That's why Africa is, Uganda is strong. That's why people are worried when you see these people who are talking, these so-called candidates. You can see many of them are working for foreign interests. Because they fear, they can see us that in the city Museveni wa maso. Ndi wano. Ate nnamanyi munange. Kubanga sisaka mmere emmere njirina wano. Ebyokozesa ebikulu ennyo tubirina wano n'emmotoka tutandise okuzikolera wano. So this is the chikulukuto now. Please remember the hemorrhage. Okuswala, to be ashamed, you should be, you Genz, nandiyagadde muswale, feel ashamed. The GDP of Africa, the whole of Africa. Africa is 12 times the size of India. You can put India into Africa 12 times, size-wise. You can put United States into Africa 4 times. But the GDP of Africa, you check on your internet, because for you, me I have got my Kaviriti. It doesn't have internet on it. They stop me from thinking properly. The name of our internet, you check. What is the GDP of Africa? 2.7 trillion. Can you imagine? Dollars. The United States, which is 1/4 of African land size and 1/5 in the population, because Africa now is 1.5 billion people. The United States is like 300 million. It's $30 trillion. What is causing all this? The hemorrhage. The hemorrhage. Ekikulukuto. Mwagala kufa n'ekikulukuto bannange. Omukyalo ono Uganda, Africa tumuwonye ekikulukuto oba tukole tutya? Tumuwonye. So that's really the tax you are talking about is a very positive tax, selective, only for okusaka ebitali bikulu. Up to now, actually, we are still, medicine is tax-free, medicine, pharmaceuticals. Although we shall tax them because we are not making our own medicine. Pharmaceuticals have been tax-free, machinery, tax-free, machinery. If you are bringing a machine to make products, tax-free. So, or perfume or bobita abanyankulu bwetachi perfumes zako abanyankulu nerabide kibobita. These are the ones we are taxing. Whiskey, those luxury items. So if Sandra is in that business, please.
It's not a business.
Jango twala matoga je wano watunde Kampala.
Mr. President, ngenda kuchimaga bwere. Ngenda kuchimaga bwere tutandike capital.
No problem, I can even donate you. Okay.
So finally, then on that, I'm so sorry. Finally, Mr. President, thank you so much. Olambise bulungi ekintu ekyo naye kati tukkiriza nti wano tutandisewo businesses zaffe, but rent still nasigala nga ali waggulu nnyo era kwega batukyajinga kinene nnyo olugattako n'ebintu ebiba byonoonye ebintu byaffe
kiki what is up
okupangisa rent mu kibuga nti
I think what we shall do,
yeah.
That's a valid point. The government, the mistake was done by your opposition groups. That's where the mistake started, because the culture of markets owned by the city council and the town councils up country was a very clever policy of where the government provides low cost, low rent spaces for abatandika. Now, Sebana Kisto, when he took over as mayor of Kampala, privatized, brought Abasu's to own the markets. And I've been trying to get them back. But I'm now going to be more active and really create spaces where you young people can come and start.
Mr. President.
The government can build like that concept of markets owned by the government, whether city council or Mbarara. Here in Mbarara we had those spaces owned by the town council, where people would come with small rent and then they grow up, and then that's how the umusajja waffe Seya erinnya bamutangani Sebagala, that's how people who were very poor in the market started and they grew. So the government should create, it was a mistake to privatize those low-cost free spaces, whether they are markets or even building centers. That's why, for instance, I built skilling hubs. Where I train the children free of charge, then they go. But we can go further and create those spaces town by town, town by town, town by town. That's a valid point, and we could devia the properties of those basubuzi. Yes. Okay, if they don't have customers, they will also behave. Because now they are misbehaving, kubanga tiwaliwo abavuganya. But I'm going to start to build these centers for you people, young people, come here and work for either for low rent or no rent. You only pay for electricity and so on. That's a valid point now. Sandra Katayogete Banan.
Toyanziza nnyo, Mr. President. Sandra kali akaveeko ak'okuleeta ebintu mu Uganda.
Ak'ekikulukutu.
Tukole ebyaffe.
Ngenda kima amatooke.
Amatooke fena tugenda gatwala. Sito?
Very good.
Mr. Gerard Ojokonyero is a software engineer, and he's also here to represent the young people that are in that sector. They've been asking so many questions, but he's here to represent all of them.
Fine.
Yes, several, Mr. President. You had mentioned something about commercializing farming as a sector youth can dive into. But what I can tell you, Mr. President, is that as the youth don't think about farming. Our mindsets are not around agriculture and all that. You see, like we are in this 21st century .com era, internet, what everyone is running to the internet. Everyone is trying to digitalize their businesses. TikTok, social media, what we have influencers. People are making money like that. But now the problem is because everyone is running to the internet. Everyone wants to put their business out there. The problem is now the challenge that we face is the data issue. They are expensive. You load your your data for 2,000. In the next minute, they tell you you've used 90%. And then you'll be like, yay, where did that data go? Mr. President, data is a very big influential thing to us youth because we are putting our businesses out there and it is very expensive. Data and network connectivity. Some areas I can tell you in my village, that side of Gulu, it's called Laboch Koro. It's the connectivity there is very, very poor. So the youth, we really need help in that side, in terms of data.
Very good, very good. Now, first of all, I must rescue you in terms of thinking, because I have not had anybody eating computers. From what I hear, people are still eating food. However, what is his name? This, the one of the American boy, American man.
Elon Musk.
Not Musk, this is another one. The one who started the Bill Gates. I saw him eating in London. He was eating food. So, whatever you are doing, don't forget the basic requirements of life. It would be misleading for me to come here and say, oh yeah, internet. I'm not your enemy. I tell you what is correct, because I know the importance of internet. I am a general, I fight, we know what technology does, but technology must be put in a proper context. The basic needs of man are still the same. Food, you must have food. You must have clothes, clothing. You can't go naked at your computer, you are what? Shelter, where to live. Where to live. That's why you are talking of workspace. That's shelter. Not renting. That's shelter.
But Mr. President...
Rindako, just wait. Medicine. Health. So those are the... now, mobility. Mobility also became important. Transport, how to move around. So those are the basics which you should all be very clear about. But within that, there are these enablers. It is true that internet, electronics, has helped us to do things much faster. Because like when we were fighting in the early days, I had to judge. It was called distance estimation. I had to use my eyes to estimate how far the enemy is so that I could adjust my gun sight to shoot him properly. But these days, with the laser, it tells me exactly where it is. I don't have to calculate. I just read it on the gauge. You see that. So we know how the computers have helped. So be clear about that. So therefore, Odokonyero is correct. Internet should not be owned by private people. It is the same story like the workspace, like the renting. Because when the internet is owned by business people, especially if they monopolize it, they are after money. They are after money. That's why the internet, the backbone is owned by the government. The government has got their own backbone. So I will have to check with Badimus what is the problem. Why should the people in Gulu, and I have been building the internet, taking it all over the place. I will check. I have not checked to know why, where it has reached. But the government internet backbone would not overcharge you. And I think the cost was coming down from $600 per gigabyte or something else. It will come down. It will come down. But the strategy is that the backbone should be owned by the government, not the private people. So if the private people have their own backbone and they make it expensive, you abandon them and you use the government one. I will check that. I will check that. That's why I want the railway to be owned by the government. The electricity, the power dams. You know, I don't know whether you heard that we had brought an Egyptian group into the railway, but we chased them because they're after money. And for us, we want low-cost transport for our products. So for the internet, it's the same. We need low-cost transmission so that it doesn't become very, very expensive. The railway, the pipeline, you have seen that in the pipeline for those common infrastructure should not be owned by the private people, should be owned by the government. But I will check what is the problem with the Gulu.
Yes, Mr. President, and also in addition to that, we still have that band of Facebook to access it. I don't know why it is still there, because what the youth are doing these days, because internet, as we mentioned, is a very key factor to support the youth's business, because every youth these days is digitalizing their business. They market it on social media platforms. So if Facebook can also come back and they remove that restriction on it. Because
we shall study that, because I had to teach them a lesson. Because they thought that without Facebook, Uganda will disappear. But Uganda is thriving. Yes, Dokonyera has got some little problem. But we are moving ahead. The cows are going home and coming back. We had to make it clear that they can't stop us. We're unstoppable. So they have been shut now for how long? But Elon Musk is making very good proposals, because he wants now, because you see the internet is through the wires, the cables underground, then in the ocean. But Elon Musk is proposing satellite, cheaper, which is cheaper now. In the past, we were using satellite. It was very expensive. But then we started using the cables, which was a bit cheaper. But now Elon Musk is saying he can make it even cheaper by satellite. So they are also fighting for space, so we shall take advantage of them.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. My name is Nasozi Shakira. I am a youth leader and a young entrepreneur.
Shakira is the name of where?
It's a Muslim name, just, but...
Shakira, it's some Arabic something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your time. I just like Mzee's reasoning, and I like your leadership traits as a young leader. And for sure, I've been seeing Mzee speaking economics only. And for sure, ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me. Uganda needs people like Mzee who are true economists, because we need our economy to grow day by day. Mzee, you have been talking about the 4-acre model, and you have been encouraging us to take part. And as a young entrepreneur and a youth leader who has been mobilizing most of my friends to open up businesses in agriculture, I've seen that we as the Gen Zs see agriculture as something that is tiresome, something that is going to make them what, and most youth most of the Gen Zs say that they do not have land where they can carry out their agriculture. And I've made more research that to countries like China, it is contributing less than 10% since it's on a small scale. And furthermore, 86% of the Chinese youth are actually involved in non-agricultural activities, and it is actually contributing to the gross domestic product of their country. So as our judge, as our mzee, are there any other opportunities that are non-agricultural that we as the Gen Zs can get involved in, and they can actually help us to push our economy from one level to another? Are there any?
Shakira has now talked correct economics. And not only correct economics, but also socio-economic transformation. It is true that with modernization, you get less people in agriculture and more people in manufacturing and services. That's correct. So that's what therefore here, when I say 4 acres model and all this, it is transitional. Because at the same time, I'm talking about manufacturing. I'm talking about services, hotels, entertainment, professional services, medicine. So, if you take the United States, only 2% of the people are in agriculture.
Very true.
So even here, it will change. But in the meantime, it can't change overnight. So that's why I say for you people, still in the rural areas, with small land, your medicine is 4 acres. 4 acres model. The ones with big land like me here, I can do large scale. But at the same time, manufacturing. That's why we're creating industrial parks. Namamve, Bale, all this. So, the youth, if they don't want to go into agriculture, that's why they can go into other services. This is why I'm telling Sandra, go into, because trade is a service. When you're a trader, you're a service provider. You are linking me, the matoke grower, with the consumer in Kampala. In the Sirinabu day, I don't have time to go to take the bananas to Kampala. But Sandra takes them, a trader. So it is true that so therefore the youth, if those who are in agriculture should be there. And as agriculture becomes more efficient, because also what we have now in the country is what we call disguised unemployment.
Yeah.
You know, with modernization, you get more and more of what we call rationalization. Rationalization kitegeeza okujjamu ebiteetaagisa. Waliwo bye tukola naye tibyetaagisa. Singa bivaamu, we shall be more efficient. It's called rationalization. So our structure now, you'll find the Jaja, grandfather, is on the 4 acres. The ones we are talking about, Jaja is there, grandfather is there, father is there, Muzukuru is there, they are all there on the 4 acres. But they are not all needed. They are not, we just need only one. But it is still our structure. We can't change. We can't. So we accept it, try to use it as we move forward. But actually, you may find that, I haven't checked, but you can check, with a tractor, how many people do you need for 200 acres? You may find you need few people to plow for 200 acres rather than really many people. So with the use of machinery, you reduce numbers. Then those numbers can go and do other things. So what is clear, what is correct, what is necessary is the long-term vision. As long as Yogenda Olengerayo, these transitional steps, you can see that some of them are not necessary, but as long as we see where we are going, we shall get over them. So I totally agree. Now I am with Shakira. She has joined me. When I was in Tanzania, I was teaching economics at, when we were fighting Yamin, I took off some 2 years to teach. And I was teaching a course called one topic, characteristics of backwardness. How do you know a backward country? One of the characteristics is to have more people in agriculture than in industry and services. It's clear. It's one. But that's where he was starting. So what do you do? Because now we have been having agriculture, but subsistence agriculture. Okora ekida kyonka. Only working for the stomach. Teach me each keken. Do you speak Acholi?
Yes, I do.
Lok Acholi?
Yes.
Lok Maber?
Ati Maber.
Apoyo. Pacho kweni? Pacho kweni. Pacho.
Pacho.
Pacho kweni.
Tie ingo. La poch koro.
Koro. Oh. We are speaking our language, these people cannot understand. So, because what we have been having has been subsistence agriculture. People are just there only producing what to eat. So we say, please, now at least start producing what to eat and what to sell. And do so with the chivaro. It is better than what you are doing now, but it's not the best. But in the meantime, so we are together now.
Thank you so much, Mzee. And maybe lastly, Mzee, I've heard about the presidential initiative on skilling of the girl child. I've seen it in Chivuli. I don't know any other place, but I mainly saw it in Chivuli. My fellow youth from the eastern side would also need such skilling, and I'm one of them. I saw people being trained in shoemaking, and I make shoes. I saw people being skilled in tailoring, bakery, and very many other activities, and they're actually given machines to start up. And as you know, the eastern side, it's one of the regions where unemployment is very high. So I was requesting, if possible, if at all, the presidential initiative on skilling of the girl child can be extended also in the eastern region, in the areas of Jinja, Soroti, Katakwi, and very many other areas.
There are zonal skilling hubs there, all of them have. All of them have. The girl child was only in Kampala.
Yeah, and that is why I was like, can it be extended in Jinja and very many other places?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Skilling is...
My pleasure.
Skilling is... Now, some people are saying that why are you only talking about the girl child? Why not the boy child? This was just to deal with the cultural distortion where the girls were really sort of forgotten. in inheritance. It had its reasons in the past, because the reasons were patrilineal society, a society which is go through the male, which is in order, but also exogamous. Exogamous, you don't marry within your clan, which was all sound science, because that's why we have very strong genes. Towasa or Uganda, you don't marry your relative, you marry. But in the past, there were wars between the clans. So that's why they didn't want the girl to take the cows to the clan where you may fight tomorrow. But those things are finished now. So that's why the NRM says, no, the girl must have equal rights. My girls here have equal rights with Mhoz. There's no way you can say my girls, although they are married, their share here is there. In my wealth. So that one should also be clear.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that wonderful information. And looking at the 5 principles of the NRM government, one that sticks out to me is socio-economic transformation. And we've looked into the economic transformation a bit, and the social one too, a smaller extent. But when I look at Unstoppable UG today and wanting to relate it to the social transformation, I would love to first start by requesting the panelists to share with us what they think makes them unstoppable enough to enable us as young people achieve or help the NRM government to achieve these 5 principles.
And also, to request the panelists, let's be Gen Z enough. We speak in seconds and continue with the next program.
Mr. President, I think all of us panelists and moderators and audience at large have been beneficial enough to learn from your leadership, because us, we've been born under your wings and we've been able to pick leaves from you. And your resilience and diligence in leading the country inspires us, Gen Z, to also try and be unstoppable like you. I would love to hear your take. I would love to hear the origin story of this unstoppable movement later from you. And yes, thank you again so much.
I think our starting point is that we were not so much taken up by the colonial system. You know, the colonial system was very dangerous, because before colonialism, there was no unemployment here, the one you are talking about. Because this word I have introduced to you, emyoga. Emyoga means a skill. Omwoga is a skill. Everybody had a skill. You had the farmers, crops, people. You had the cattle keepers. You had the blacksmith, Abawesi. You had the carpenters, Ababazi. You had the Abakomaji, backcloth makers. You had all those skills. Everybody had a skill. But when the Europeans came, they killed the artisanship. They killed the artisanship. They started, plates were imported, cups were imported instead of the traditional clay, wooden plates and so on. So therefore, Africa became an import-dependent society. And that's how this distortion of this arts, you know what, the arts science debate. Because when you look at life, a normal life, you have more science than arts. If you see the house you sleep in needs science. The car you are driving, you need science. The food you are eating, you need science. Whatever, much of it. Yes, there is space for administration, but you need less administrators and more myoga people. So, when the Europeans came, they distorted everything. It also created inferiority complex. Africans thought they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that. Like, for instance, when we were fighting Amin, some people came to me and said, Mr. President, I was a fighter, Mr. Museveni, what we should do is to get money, we hire Israelis to kill Idi Amin. I said, but why should we hire Israelis to kill Idi Amin? We can kill him ourselves if we want to kill him. But you can see the dependency. So, the chance we had, some of us who are not so much involved in the colonial system, we were here, cattle keepers, crops people. Then when we came into the system, we said, these people, what they are saying is not correct. Like my discussion with Sandra, a wonderful discussion, historic. Because Sandra I don't think she had heard about the Chikurukuto. Because she thought she had a very strong point. Strong point was you are taxing our Bietusaka China. Or to say, naye munange ani atuse Sandra yatuse bannange kubanga yayamba ekikulukuto kino ko. So this is, you can see the meeting of the two movements. My movement from the resistance to foreign dependency. And then whatever these young people have been picking up from Kasita. You know Kasita, there's a group in Kampala called Kasita. Their job is to import. Why do you import Kasita Banan? Why don't you either make or distribute what is here? So, it was, and we had not lost our base. We still had our base. That's how, for instance, the Ankole cow, we kept it. They were saying, oh, Ankole cow is what? Ankole cow is the best. Now the Ankole cow is earning much more. The other day, Ramaphosa, in South Africa, I sold him 43 cows. He actually cheated me because he gave me a very low price. I sold him 43 cows, Ramaphosa. Now he's a big man there in South Africa. The other time we sold a cow for 187 million shillings. One cow, 187 million shillings. But imagine, and why is it so special? The Ankole cow has got yellow fat. All these other cows have white fat. The one which causes cholesterol. The Ankole cow is anti-cholesterol actually. So, but this one was not known. And now, your people have have identified the medicine for cancer, have discovered the medicine for diabetes, for malaria. All these were here. Our people knew them. But the world didn't know. And if we had, so it is that background of were not fully captured mentally by the foreigners, who were still Africans over here. Because also, remember that Europeans have not, we did not interact so much with the outside world. The first non-black person to come here, unlike our Africans at the coast, in West Africa, in East Africa, they had more infiltration. But you remember from your history, you people, the first non-black person to come to Uganda was an Arab called Ibrahim. He came in 1841. This is the first time to see a non-black person. So they thought he had no skin. My great-grandmother who was alive thought that white people had no skin, that they were inyama, they were meat. Because to have black skin, to have skin, you must be black. So that recent interaction is the one really which kept us. Yes, we can see the new things, we can see the advantage, but So I think it is that you call it, I think, convergence of indigenous and new that makes us very strong. Very strong. That's why we are sure of ourselves, because we know what is indigenous here. For instance, like the Banyankore used to drink milk without boiling it, like the Karamayong are still doing now. But when people said, there are some organisms in the milk which can harm bacteria, which you need to kill, and we changed. So we boil, but still we keep the milk. So change, continuity within change, or change within continuity. This is where we are strong. So the other time when there was a war in Ukraine, there's a war, what are we going to do? Really, you are crying that there's a war is the war in Mombasa? No. Is it in Jinja? No. What are you crying about? Let them fight. You do your own things. No. There will be no bread, no what. Eat mogo. What is the problem? Who has stopped you from eating mogo? And I can see you are all very, very fat. I think, I don't know what you are eating. Oh, bananga bankoze bulungi okundetera Genz.
Sevo, the Gen Zs really have so many questions for you. They would love to spend the entire day with you. I don't know if you can give us another day, we just come back.
I have no problem, I will organize it.
Yes, we shall be so grateful to come back.
I can have a whole day. Because you see, what you call Gen Z, I am a former Gen Z myself. And I wish I had shown you my picture when I was your age, 1968, when I was like 23, 20. Next time I will show it to you.
I'll come back to see the picture.
Because what I want to ask the Gen Z, am I allowed to ask a question also?
Yes. We are so ready for you.
Permission granted.
Permission granted.
Yes, we are ready for you.
Now, do I take it that Gen Z want to be softies? Because for us, we're not softies. We're tough. That was our generation were emphasizing toughness, resistance. That's how we were fighting the whites in Mozambique. The picture I want to show you is when I went to Mozambique in 1968 to be with the freedom fighters. But your generation, what are you going to be? Softies?
No, our generation is just misunderstood.
If you are softies, how will you guarantee our future?
Well, I would love to take that opportunity to thank you, Mr. Sevo, for that question. Now, I was ready for you as a real Gen Z. We have been able to have a chance of the young Gen Zs that have gotten knowledge from you to come up with things like Unstoppable UG. Now, this is going to enable us to become more of the dreamers we thought we weren't. We are going to become world creators.
You're going to be innovative and tough Gen Zs.
We are going to be innovative. Mr. President, when you were talking about your era of being a Gen Z, you didn't talk about being a hustler. We are big-time hustlers. We are game changers. And above it all, there is no generation like us because we aim to learning, unlearning, and relearning. Thank you so much to everyone that has been watching, guys. It has been an amazing time having you all. And we cannot wait. We know you all have so many questions for the president. Put them in the comment section. The magic hashtag is #UnstoppableUG. And my colleague is going to be giving her last remarks, and then I'll be letting you know what next.
Well, thank you so much, Tifa, and thank you so much, Mr. President, for your amazing time. I would love to stress the point that we are indeed unstoppable. We come with new ideas, and we request to be listened to be seen, to be heard, and to be acknowledged, because we are here.
Yes. Thank you so much for being amazing people. To our audience, the media, the panelists, you have been very amazing people. Do not forget that we are Unstoppable UG, and we are the first ever podcast of young Ugandans that are dreamers, innovative, entrepreneurs, and above all, we are going to change the format that people know about our generation. Museveni, let me report some people. They say our generation is lazy. They are lying. We are very hardworking. We are very good people, and we support your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The Gen Zs, about Gen Zs.
And you are not softies.
No, we are not softies. We are hustlers, and we love you so much.
You're part of me. We're like the morning sunrise and believe you're coming with me. The fire. We are unstoppable. Yeah. We are unstoppable. We are who we are. We are unstoppable. We are the power. We are strong and proud. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. Better believe it.